the quarterback group is one that I think is largely settled. You know, in the past, we've asked the question, do they roll with 2 quarterbacks? Do they have 2 and keep one on the practice squad? How do they approach things? This year, I think it's almost certain, even with Will Grier losing his sponsor in the building and Doug Nussmeier. Doug Nussmeier was the big advocate for Will Grier here. I think that it's more likely than ever that Will Grier or some other third quarterback is kept on the roster because you have the new emergency third quarterback rule. So because of that, you don't have to consider him a game day active, but it's good insurance to have. You will, I think every team is going to want to carry a third quarterback on their 53, even if they're not active on game day. But the grouping of Dak Prescott, Cooper Rush, Will Grier, this is probably the most settled the quarterback room as a whole has been in a long time, because there's no question. I don't think Rush is the 2. You know, you've got Will Grier pretty much solidified on the roster. The only question it would be is, would you want to sub somebody
Why is
out?
Will Grier solidified?
In terms of, I think a third quarterback is solidified, and Will Grier's been in the building for 3 years now.
Okay.
So anybody that you're bringing in is likely going to have, like, is the talent disparity going to be so great between Will Grier and somebody on the street that they can make up for the time that he's already spent in the system? Here are the free agent quarterbacks out there right now that you can consider. Carson Wentz.
No.
Matt Ryan.
Oh, Carson Wentz working with John Gruden recently.
Oh, great.
Oh, wow.
Somebody check their emails. Teddy Bridgewater. Nick Foles.
Teddy's out there?
He's out there. Chase Daniel, former South Lake Carroll product. So these are the type of guys that you're looking at. Jake Luton, EJ Perry. Those are the guys that would be out there that could potentially come in here and compete. But you're talking about an entire quarterback room that has basically been here for the entirety of McCarthy's time.
We'd all much rather have Teddy than Cooper Rush, right?
I'm not a Teddy Bridgewater fan.
Well, as a starter, for sure, but like we're talking as a backup.
In terms of what you would have to...
I mean, Cooper Rush got an embarrassingly low salary.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Money-wise, you're right.
You've been correct about the money allocated at the position. Where I'm wrestling internally is, how much credit do I give the Cowboys for Cooper Rush? I've been very critical of their approach with the backup quarterbacks. I feel like they've mailed it in. They haven't put enough importance. Choppy has said, no, this is the way you do it in today's NFL. It's not worth a major investment. I've disagreed. Cooper Rush last year was obviously a resounding success.
Huge success.
And I'm like, did they luck into this, or did they really know? Like, did they get away with going cheap? Or do I need to give them credit for recognition and development of Cooper Rush? That's my internal struggle. I'm willing to say I was wrong and give them credit, but I don't know. Why are you giving me that look?
Because, I mean, they have cut him twice, and when they were in need of an emergency quarterback situation in 2020, they brought in him and Garrett Gilbert, and Cooper Rush lost to Garrett Gilbert for that start that week against the Steelers. So I think they probably lucked into it the same way they've kind of lucked into some of their safeties, where they showed him the door a couple different times. I mean, Mike McCarthy, that was one of the first moves, I think, was cutting Cooper Rush early on when he got here. And then when they brought him back in the fall, he wouldn't start him over Garrett Gilbert.
You realize how it's funny with the quarterbacks. We have not even tried to get quarterbacks in 30 years. And they've lucked into Romo and Dak.
Yep.
They haven't even tried.
By the way, we never did the PFF quarterbacks. We've been doing all the other positions and below the belt.
Switching up positions for you.
Making Bobby so happy. Just to run through them real quick, since we're doing quarterbacks. Man, that was a massive eye roll by you.
It's my birthday, damn it.
Mahomes 1, Josh Allen 2, Joe Burrow 3, Herbert 4, Rodgers 5,
No.
Lamar 6,
No.
Hurts 7,
No.
Lawrence 8, Cousins 9,
No.
which maybe we need to take a Kirk Cousins lesson in Minnesota, as yesterday it seemed to come out that they're not extending him. They're letting him go into this year, after this year as a free agent. Dak Prescott 10 behind Kirk Cousins, Trevor Lawrence, Lamar Jackson, and those are some of the names that jumped out. Right ahead of Tua, Stafford 12, Watson 13, Carr 14, Geno Smith 15, Jared Goff 16, Daniel Jones 17, Justin Fields 18, Russ at 20, Mac Jones at 21, as DeAndre Hopkins is apparently going to visit New England.
Man, they do not buy Justin Fields hype. Have him at 18th.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which is, well, it's a little odd to have him 18th and Lamar 6th or whatever they have Lamar at. So
now Lamar is Justin Fields.
I
mean, before you
he wishes he was Justin Fields.
Stafford's too high. We don't know about his arm.
I'm gonna stab you. He wishes he was Justin Fields.
I don't get me too. I think Kirk's too high. I think Hurts is too low. Personally, I think Herbert's too high.
What's offensive above Dak? Is Cousins above Dak offensive?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't like Cousins above Dak. I would switch. I would put Goff there.
Above?
Based on last year, yes.
No, but yeah.
Probably
next 3 years.
I would take Goff the next 3 years.
Ooh.
He's in a better offense, for one.
Rodgers above Dak is offensive.
Off last year, absolutely is. No doubt about it. Off the last 3 years, no, over the next 3 years, it's offensive because Dak will be better over the next 3 years than Rodgers will. Rodgers is, he's too old.
As we talk about that backup quarterback situation here in Dallas, specifically, though, with Cooper Rush, and you asking if they lucked into him, it is, I know we've had this in the prep for a couple days. Marty Morningweg over at the 33rd team did the top 10 backup quarterbacks in the NFL recently, the old Lions coach. And
this
he
is
had
usually
said,
a really ugly list.
He said that, which NFL team is the most prepared. Where do you think Cooper Rush fell on the list of the best backup quarterbacks in the NFL?
Oh, gosh.
Best backup quarterback, 6th.
7.
3rd.
Ooh. Give us the list, top 10.
Number 1, Tyrod Taylor and the Giants. Number 2, Andy Dalton and the Panthers.
Ew.
Number 3, Cooper Rush. And then behind Cooper Rush.
What a hideous list.
Some names behind Cooper Rush, though. In fact, 3 top 3 picks behind Cooper Rush. You've got Jacoby Brissett with the Commanders at number 4. Number 5, Gardner Minshew with the Colts. Number 6, Marcus Mariota with the Eagles. Number 7, Jameis Winston with the Saints.
Wow.
Number 8, Taylor Heineke with the Falcons. Number 9, Pro Bowler Tyler Huntley with the Ravens. And then number 10, Sam Darnold with the 49ers. Who would have thought a few years back when Darnold got picked that we'd be talking about Cooper Rush is 7 spots ahead of him on the backup quarterbacks list?
Wow.
So there's that list. I think quarterback's pretty much set. There's not really much to talk about. The only question would be if, because Doug Nussmeier's gone, they choose a different third quarterback.